Hello everyone, my name is the Retroden, and today we're taking a look at Visions of Mana, the most recent entry in the Mana series, through the demo that was most recently made available to the players, which shows around 40 minutes of gameplay. I'd like to preface this video by saying I'm not familiar with the Mana franchise and this was my first experience with it. I'd also like to say that through the demo I decided to stick to the main story and not sidetrack a lot so I could focus on the main beats of the plot. So to start things off, the demo starts us in this snowy area, which similarly to the other places in this demo is very colorful and vibrant and honestly overall beautiful as a zone, which really entices exploration despite being quite linear since this is a demo. As a demo for the game, it unfortunately overwhelms you right from the start since it throws a bunch of exposition and menu mechanics in your face. In these regards, I think the demo would be much better off being in the beginning of the game so it didn't make players sort of lost in the story. That way it could easily make a safe game tie-in with the full game so players who play the demo can just follow up easily from there. We move on to the snowy area, and from what I get, the game has a huge emphasis on elemental combat and a weakness and resistance system that most games with elements tend to do. I didn't delve too deep into any of the systems since I just wanted to get a few impressions and general feel about the game. For the first few combat scenarios, the feeling I got is that this is generally a more touched up Square Enix RPG, and it honestly feels like a spiritual successor to games like Ni no Kuni 2, as combat and the in-fight menus and pop-ups seem to be really similar if not borderline equal to it. As for the combat, I'm guessing it can get more complex once the game moves forward, otherwise it's just a usual instanced battle where you match up with the enemies in the overworld and it's a bit of mashing mixed and match with magic, using the occasional dodging. Just like Ni no Kuni 2, the elementals of this game are also present in the overworld. In this context, you can interact with them in order to traverse the world easily. The two examples we got during this demo were the slowing of time on the icy rivers and the boost up for the jump in the grasslands area, which is literally the same wind power that was taken from Ni no Kuni 2. Speaking of the grassland area, the transition to the second part of the demo is also completely filled with expositions, which I at first tried to understand but then quickly gave up due to the sheer complexity of what was being said to someone who has basically zero understanding of the story at this point in time. We then get access to what is probably our way of moving faster in the overworld through some big dogs you can mount, which then take us to the first and only city in the demo. I need to do the game justice and say that the environments are on point. While this art style might not be my favorite cup of tea, I think they really nailed what they were going for, and this is certainly going to please fans of the Mana series compared to the look of the other recent entries, which people had quite some few complaints for. As we reach a new city, my fear for this demo gets realized, with the city opening up with side quests for the player to complete. From my experience with Square Enix games, side quests are really repetitive and only make sense when we're accumulating currency or resources for an achievement or future upgrades. Since we're in the demo, I didn't see any point of completing a side quest, so I advanced to what was the last part of the trial, unfortunately. After completing this small quest to grab a key, which had me basically do nothing at all, we get put into a boat. On this boat, we speak to 3 different people and we get the boss fight that was promised at the beginning of the demo. Since this boss fight was chosen for the demo, it clearly wasn't anything overcomplicated, although I felt that I was spanking an octopus for what felt like a good 15 minutes. Making these fights longer really made the simplicity and the clunkiness of the combat show, which was probably not a good decision. That being said, this was probably the best part of the demo to try some stuff out, such as dodging, which is quite responsive in this game, and lock-on targeting, which for some reason seemed to be bugged out on my end. Once again, the boss fight put the emphasis on elemental damage, which led to me eventually just refilling my mana and spamming spells on the boss until the game ended. Overall, the game doesn't feel like it's going to be bad. This game has as much promise of success as other more niche JRPGs from Square Enix or Bandai Namco do. That being said, I do not think anyone who is interested in the game should go and try the demo, as I don't think it was well thought when it comes to player experience. If I was interested in buying the game before, the demo would much more easily dissuade me to do so rather than convince me. But that was it. I just wanted to get my thoughts out since I managed to find some time to play the demo. Leave a comment if you yourself have played through it and want to express a different idea from the ones I left with this video. But other than that, this has been the Retroden, and I'm out.